Hi everyone, I'm Kaylee. The culture I've chosen to do my research over is the Asian Indian culture, and so today we will discuss some of facts about them and then compare it to the person that I was able to interview from that culture. Working in the United States is really common, especially as a nurse, to encounter different people from different cultures. And our job is super important for us to be educated in all those different cultures so that we're able to deliver effective and patient-centered care for that patient. According to Brunner and Suter's textbook, it says that cultural awareness or sensitivity is defined as being alert to and having knowledge of culture preferences, aspects, or perspectives that may impact the healthcare experience, including communication, personal choice, or other elements. So, to start off about the Asian Indian culture, it is very complex and a diverse culture. Asian Indians make up one of the largest subgroup of the South Asians, and they consist of people from Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. So the Indian population consists of roughly 1/6 of the world's population, making it the second most populous country after China. So that states how pretty big it is. They have a high level of poverty due to how big their country is. So that does have an impact on disease processes, their lifestyles, and the diet associated with this culture. They have an overall darker appearance, so their skin's darker, the hair, the complexion, compared to Americans. And their culture is very set on having high intelligence, and education is super, super important. Compared to America, where everyone kind of has their own freedom, men have the authority there. So the men are in charge, and the female has to follow and obey their orders. The order that the women normally follow is they obey their father first, then their husband, and then lastly their son. They are required to stay home and care for the household chores and the children. This differs from the Western culture because right now they have become completely independent as a woman and can have jobs and leave the house and do things similar to what a man can do. So we're going to start off by talking about the communication and their language. So communication is key to any aspect of life. Say you have a client and they do not speak the same language as you, but you have to get information across and take care of them. So at that point, it's super important to find an interpreter that speaks the same language as them, so you can get that information across and have that patient-centered care. So in India, they have a variety of languages that are spoken, but the most common is Hindi. When I interviewed the person of this culture, they still spoke Hindi, but since they've lived in America for the past 20 years, they have adapted well to the English language and are fluent in both of them. So when it comes to greeting a person from this culture, compared to America where it is very common to just shake hands with anybody, it is not so much the same in India. It is common to shake hands with one another, but with women, it is more acceptable for them to extend their hand to shake before you do it, especially if you are the opposite sex. So that is the communication between the Indian culture. So next we'll talk about religion. They have a bunch of subcultures with a variety of religions and languages consisting of Hinduism, Muslim, and Christianity. But Hinduism is the most popular religion. So in India, the Hindu religion believe in reincarnation and cremation. So Paul Hawking made an article and it stated that it said, the basic idea is that one soul can be reincarnated of an unknown number of rebirths, and that what the soul is to be reincarnated into depends on the balance of one's sin and good deeds in the past life. So they believe that once you die, the good deeds that you've done in your past life will determine how high you are set up in your next life. So the more good deeds you have, the higher and better life that you will have, and the more sins you have, the next time you were born, you will have a lower life. So that's the Hindu religion. The interview, when talked about with religion, they state that they still follow those practices even while living here. So with nutrition, their nutrition diet is basically based off religion. They do not eat meat. They have no shortenings, such as animal fat. They are vegetarian. So their staple foods consist of rice and wheat, lots of vegetables, and they get their protein sources from things like beans. Some religions of India allow meat, but the one meat that they do not allow is pork because it is considered an unclean meat. When asked upon this question, the interview said that since moving to the United States, it has been harder to stick to that diet. They still eat lots of vegetables, rice, wheat, but they do eat chicken and fish now. So with diseases in the Indian culture, you find that different cultures are susceptible to certain diseases than others. An article stated that Asian Indians in the United States reported a relatively low prevalence of obesity and smoking, high rate of insulin-resistant diabetes, premature coronary artery disease, physical inactivity, and poor self-rated health. So the two most common diseases of the Indian culture are cardiovascular diseases and diabetes. So along with those diseases, breast cancer is another common health issue with women in the Indian culture. The funny thing is, Asian Indian women that move to the United States, there's a higher rate of it showing up compared to women that actually live in India. And that is due to that women don't really seek medical attention for the reproductive organs over there. And they don't really feel comfortable with undressing in front of strangers. A lot of women over there also do not work and do not require annual physicals, so the detection of it is not found. So that's why you'll see a higher prevalence of it once they move to America. So their medicine is practiced. It's called Ayurveda. It's one of the oldest practices practiced in the world. And it means science is life. So the wellness of the human body depends on the balance between the mind, body, and spirit. So it mainly focuses on meditation and herbal treatments rather than medicines. These techniques are used for more chronic conditions and diseases that can't be treated with meditation, but also for acute conditions that require surgery or cannot be treated with meditation or herbal treatments. They do go seek medical attention. Compared to America, where a lot of our older people will go into nursing homes or skilled facilities, in India, the elderly members it's more common for them to stay home and be cared for there compared to going somewhere else. When the interview was asked about this practice, they say that they do practice this on a daily basis, but they also seek out medical help when it is needed. So the main changes that they've really had to endure when moving here is the role of the woman and the diet. So after living here for so many years, his wife actually attained her bachelor's degree and now provides for their family, which is very uncommon from that culture. So with Asian nursing care, it is important, like I said before, to know that their religion, their diet, their language, so you can be able to give that patient-centered care. It's really common for women of the Indian culture to want a female care provider as much as possible. Also know that they do take herbs, so it's important to know that the herbs that they take, just because some have a adverse reaction to some medicines. And so that is some cool facts about the Indian culture. After assessing and interviewing the client, from the Asian Indian culture. It really helped open my eyes to see how different cultures are and the needs that they need, and how important it is to have a foundation knowledge of that in nursing so I can provide that effective and patient-centered care. So thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.